For this time here in the garage, I'm just going to kind of do a little overview of where we are and what still needs to be done. So let's go ahead and get started. We're at a point now on this project where we've got the mechanical, the electrical, the interior pretty much wrapped up. Just some final detailing which we'll do at the end. So we're going to start focusing now on the body, getting it ready to be prepped and painted. There's a couple details that need to be added that were not on this car when I got it. So I need to rebuild a couple parts of the body and prep some areas. We're going to be starting here on the front end. First thing that needs to be done is I need to cut in here for the pop-up headlight. So that'll be something that'll be happening probably our next time in the garage. We'll go ahead and make those cutouts for that. Another thing is here on the front end, the bottom scoop underneath needs to be put back on. The former owner had ripped the original one off. I think he bottomed out on something, so I need to get another one of those, a replacement. We'll put that on. We'll mount the fog lights here where they need to go. And then, of course, we need to go ahead and put the emblems on, but that won't be until it's painted. So that's what we have here for the front end. Let's head around to the side of the vehicle. We have this front passenger fender here. As mentioned in a previous video, the house that this was next to had caught on fire, so there was some heat damage done here to the paint. No damage to the body itself. That's all still fine. But what we need to do is just clear all this out, smooth it, recoat it if need be, so we can prep that for painting. Another thing is also the tires. These front tires are pretty much dry rotted out and they're the wrong size. These are 215s, they're supposed to be 225s. So the new tires have to be put on. These rims need to be, have all the rust removed, have them recoated. So that needs to happen as well. Then coming along here on the side here, there's some vinyl that the former owner had put in here on both of these air intakes here on the sides near the doors. And then down here as well, the silver, all that needs to be removed. I need to use a heat gun, loosen that up so we can get that off, get that ready for painting. And then down here on the lower part of the molding, you have the air intakes here, which is correct for the Countach special molding that was used on the Countaches, but there's also supposed to be an air intake here that went in for the brakes, I believe. And this right here is where it needs to be cut out, and then just an expanded metal mesh put behind there for an air intake. And then moving along here to the rear tires, these tires are actually brand new, except they're 295. So we need to get the wider tires for that, and then also the profile is too thick, and then these rims also need to be refinished. So that pretty much wraps up what we have to do on the side. Let's head around to the back. Okay, a lot of work needs to be done back here on this the trunk or engine compartment, whatever you want to call it, this part here. There's vents that need to be added here on the sides right here. It needs to be cut out, and then it needs to come up with a kind of a panel that's spaced off for heat to come out, as was used on some of the old Countaches. Go ahead and take a look. Another thing I need to do is back here on this rear window. On this particular one, they have the window coming right to the edge, and it's just a flat angle right here. The real Countaches, the back window was more recessed in with an overhang, so I need to build that out as well. And I believe that wraps it up for what needs to be done here. Oh, and then the wing. This wing needs to be pushed back a little bit. It needs to go back approximately 2 more inches. They have it too far forward, which kind of works for how this trunk opens up. However, I wanted to go further back so that way it's in line with the rear edge of the car. So we're going to move that back a little bit as well. Okay, moving here to the back. As we've discussed in a previous video, I have this panel that I just temporarily put in place. That needs to be permanently mounted. All this molding here where I kind of beefed up and reshaped the back needs to be nicely shaped and sanded down, get that ready to be painted. Then moving underneath, I need to add a little bumped out ledge here that runs right about here where the license plate would be mounted. And then we're also going to move the light to be in front of that. And then around this exhaust shield, there's a frame that needs to be built, but that isn't needed to be repainted because that's going to be the matte black to match that. And that'll pretty much fill that space in there, that gap, to seal that off. And I believe that wraps it up for what needs to be done so we can at least paint the body, and then that puts us into the final stages of the vehicle. Once that's done, then we'll focus on the suspension. We're going to be looking at the tie rods. We're going to be looking at just everything pertaining with the steering, make sure everything's tight with that. We're going to be recoating the calipers. I'm going to be surface cleaning the rotors since they have some surface rust on them. They look in good shape, but just need to be cleaned. Checking the brakes, the brake lines, all that stuff. and then just some final detailing on the interior, and then adjusting the throttle and the idle air control needs to be reset. That's all small stuff that we'll do in the detailing stages when we're done with it. So let's head inside the vehicle and I'll show you a couple things that need to be done in there before we wrap that up as well. Okay, moving here to the inside, there's two buttons that I have here that I put into the dash to control the windshield washer sprayer and also the tripometer. I can't get them to go all the way back because of the metal framing of the dash. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and build up a little bit of a bezel kind of standoff that they can mount to. That way it looks nice and finished. The other thing is here on the sides of the dashboard where it goes up against the door window, there's black stitched leather panels that need to be put in there. Right now it's still unfinished and they just look a mess. So that needs to be added to finish that as well. And then last but not least, we have the floor mats. I'm going to have some gray custom embroidered Lamborghini floor mats that are going to go here. And that'll pretty much wrap up the interior. The interior will be done and that'll take care of that. And then once it's done, we're going to go ahead and just detail around the molding, getting that all squared away so it has the nice lines like it should. Let's go ahead and move the car. Well, that pretty much wraps up this video here in the garage working on the Countach project. I hope this video was informative and entertaining for you. Please send any questions and any comments. I would love to hear from you. As always, I appreciate all the support, so please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you next time.